We now delve into tonight's discussion. Let's cross over to Hussein Mohammed. Hussein.
Right, Janet, thank you. And of course, our guest tonight is Dr. Evans Kidero, Nairobi County Governor. Thank you so much for making time for the big question tonight. On 22422, your feedback here. Somebody says, what is wrong, Mr. Kidero, with the dirtiest capital in Kenya? That is obviously the capital in Kenya, Nairobi. Something must be done. Gerald from Udhiru says, Mudhurwa sewage, down there it's hell. Kidero, do something. And Bishop Imoite Papa in Nairobi, Governor Kidero's record sincerely speaks for itself. He turned around nation media and left Mumias on sound economic position. This politics of defamation must cease. Let us encourage our public officers instead of making baseless allegations. That is what Dr. Evans Kidero has been saying. That is what we're starting with. We'll come to the issues of Nairobi and decongesting the city shortly. But in terms of allegations, that is what you've been dismissing them as. You've been blamed for corruption in Nairobi County government. Most of that coming from Senator Sonko, talking about fictitious companies being given tenders for garbage collection. We've also had issues to do with Mumias Sugar Company and its collapse or near collapse. And of course, the latest land grabbing in Nairobi. These are allegations. Investigations are going on. But why do you think you attract so much controversy?
Hussein, I mean, earlier on you talked about politics 101.
Yeah.
Mine is politics 106. And I think it's got to do with elections in 2017. And I'll leave it at that because as the good man of the Lord said, my record speaks for itself.
Right.
What I did in Smithkline Beach and what I did in Nation. And of course, for the 10 years I was in Mumias, we made profits year in, year out. We paid dividends year in, year out. We had positive cash flows. And actually, I saw in the Financial Nation today, I said up to the time I left, the working capital was actually positive. It became negative. Mm-hmm. But I think you can't be successful in the past. That was then. I did what I did. And you can't argue with numbers and you can't argue with results.
Right.
So what is going on now is pure politics 106.
But still some say you're to blame for that. You say politics 106 and it's about 2017. What do you mean? Why do you say that?
I know, I mean, because of probably they don't have anything else to say is try and go into history. Let's talk about what I'm doing for the Nairobians. One has mentioned about some land. The first time I saw it was what is on the paper on Sunday, and I'm waiting to be served, and I haven't seen because
right. This was about from court documents that you are accused to be among the people who was grabbing land that is near State House. You're saying that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I'm waiting to be served. I haven't seen anything. However, on the other issues of corruption or city, I've been at the forefront of fighting corruption, and actually from the time I got in 2013. I've fired no less than 230 people. Mm-hmm. I've blacklisted no less than 17 companies. Mm-hmm. And we've processed in excess of 2,500 tenders. Of course, I mean, the governor does not participate in the management of tenders because our tendering process is defined by the Procurement Act. And
right. So there could be? This could be true?
It could be true, but where we've had complaints, these have always ended up with PPOA, the Public Procurement Authority, which is the rightful place for any complaint regarding the impropriety in the processing of tenders. Right. And so far, we've only had one complaint, which went to PPOA.
Right. It's been back and forth, and we've lately, last week, we had the Director of Public Prosecutions, Keriako Tobiko, writing to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption to investigate this matter. Did you think there's some weight in it? Him now telling the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to do so?
No,
Why shouldn't you say?
I think so, because, I mean, once there is a claim, it must be proven that either it's true or not true. And we'll provide all the information that is necessary. But as far as I know, our operations are above board. Mm-hmm. If they are, and we get to know about, and that's why we urge people, if they think there's anything unbecoming in the way we operate, let them bring the information. We will take action. And if they think that probably we are incapable of taking action, it should end up with the CID or with CASA or with the Kenya Audit Office.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, the nature of this, what has been happening is there's been these allegations. You have been dismissing them. It is very hard, even for somebody in a neutral point of view, to find out where the truth is, because there's been no conviction from any case so far. The investigations are still going on. But what if then you are found to be culpable? Not even you, but officers in the Nairobi City
Certainly, I mean,
County.
if it's found that there was misdemeanor or people did not do what they shouldn't have done, I'll take actions like in the previous cases where I've taken actions. Even right now, I mean, I have more than 35 people serving suspensions on various allegations.
Okay, then why wouldn't you just agree to what these people are saying? Somebody like Senator Mike Sonko and the rest who are accusing you of corruption, not you, obviously, the county government, sometimes you. Why don't you just welcome what they're saying and let this process go on?
I have agreed, and that's what I've said. Bring the evidence, or take it to CASA, or take it to CID. The authorities that are the ones that are appointed and have got capacity to investigate.
But then you're saying this is also linked to 2017, and it could be just issues to do with your political detractors.
Because, I mean, so far, I mean, what I've heard them say that they don't think CASA is capable of investigating. And last night I said that even they think CASA should be investigated. They don't think CID is capable of investigating, and CID should be investigated. So if CASA cannot investigate, CID cannot investigate, Senate cannot investigate, Kenya National Audit Office cannot investigate, then you term it as mere allegation and a smear campaign.
Right, but CASA now is, the Ethics and Corruption Commission has now been written to investigate. Just to be specific then, a bit more specific in what you're saying, who are you accusing then of this? If you're saying this is political detractors for 2017 election, who are you accusing?
No,
who do you think is against you like this?
There are a number of people. I mean, there are a number of people who people who brought us objective information. We've taken action. But if people do not want to take due process to bring it to a conclusion, then you've got to term it as politics 106.
Right, and we're going to go back to politics of ODM. Of course, these are allegations and investigations are going on. We'll wait and see how they pan out. I'm going to read an SMS here so that we go on to the next topic here. Somebody says, the intended plans to demolish roundabouts, the intended plans here to demolish roundabouts and replace them with intersections is a very temporary measure, which will in the long run not solve the gridlock currently being experienced. It's common sense. If vehicles meet at an intersection, a gridlock will naturally occur. What is required are over and underpasses, period. Anything short of these requirements will not work. That is John from Harambee Estate, talking about the plans you gave yesterday on decongesting the city. What do you think of that? Yeah, many have talked about that.
I think what John has said is absolutely true, is a fact. And in terms of decongestion, we have the short-term plans, medium-term plans, and the long-term plans. The short-term plans are where we are not unlicensing any more public service vehicles, just to ensure, to make sure that there are no oversupply or undersupply, making sure that vehicles are able to move and get out of the city as fast as possible. They don't stay in bus stops for more than 5 minutes, and they don't stay at the stations for more than 40 minutes. Of course, in addition to this, we are appealing to drivers to be courteous, to be considerate, and obey the traffic rules. Where we want to facilitate for vehicles to move, we are going to get rid of all right turns. We are going to do 21 junctions, which are going to be left turns.
Within 3 months?
Within 3 months.
Within 3 months.
Actually, we're starting next month when the kids are when kids are on holiday. Then we, on the Westlands roundabout, we are going to kill the right turns. You'd have to go and turn back if you want to get into Westlands. Or if you're going to Rapper Road when you're in Westlands, you have to come down as if you're going to Chiromo, then turn, then come back up again. Then we will replace 6 roundabouts with signalized junctions. But as was said, these are not sufficient. There are other things that must be done. In our integrated development plan, we say that when the city center was built, every morning all vehicles come to the city center. In the long term, we must create epicenters, mixed-use developments, offices, commercial centers, and residential, so people don't have to go far away from where they live. The other thing that we're going to do is bring in mass public mass transit systems, either rail or high-capacity buses.
That has been said before, and critics would say this. Of course, with due respect to all these things you're saying are very important, and we're really hoping that they are going to work. But this issue about traffic and decongesting the city, I believe, was in your manifesto, something you're supposed to do within your first 100 days in office. It's 2 years now. Critics have always said there's a lot of talk coming from you, and nothing is ever implemented. 100 days, 2 years down the line, is this thing going to work really again?
Really, I think it's unrealistic to think you can do decongestion in 100 days.
Although it was in your manifesto.
Yes. 20 years ago, we had 40,000 vehicles. Now we have close to a million vehicles. We register 8,000 vehicles a month, and 7,000 of them stay in Nairobi. And the length of road has not increased, and the width of roads has not increased. And every morning, all of them come into the city. Naturally, we would expect. So probably several years of neglect has finally caught up with us. And what we haven't done is to raise our hands up. That's why we said we'll do the short term, the medium term, and the long term, which includes efficient public transportation system that can bring people into the city.
Right.
Let me also add, the other things you've noticed, I was saying that during the holidays, there are no traffic jams. Because I think a lot of families use maybe to so vehicles. A lot of the probably school buses are on. When I went to school, actually, you could only be admitted in the school when I went to primary school, in the school nearest to where we stay. And it's a discussion we've been having that probably we need to have a regulation to make sure people go to school where they live, but also then have special high-capacity school buses for schools. And probably that would, that in addition to the mass public transport system, it will help.
Right. Again, we hope all this will work. But Governor Kidero, I think what most Kenyans, and especially people from Nairobi, are looking for is something to cling on. Like you say, all this will be done. There's a short-term plan. There's a long-term plan. You say the short-term plan will start as from next month.
Yeah.
What happens if it doesn't happen in? Give us a timeline. When do you expect like the roundabouts to be done?
The roundabouts will be done by May. Then all the left turns, because these are in the medium term, will be done in another 3 months by August. And then the long term will be up to 3 years. So by the time we get to the next get re-elected, this will be on.
But within the next 3 months, then we hope there'll be some level
of ease
in congesting the state. Obviously, not everything, but to some level. So if it doesn't happen, what if it doesn't happen? Because this is coming from people who are frustrated that these things are being said, but nothing happens.
If it doesn't happen, we'll have learned why it hasn't happened. It's better to do something than do nothing. And we believe that from the time and motion studies that we've done, and which will continue in the coming months, actually what we're going to do even in the city center. And it doesn't take very much to see that when you're going out of town in the evening, towards Thika Road, you have a lot of traffic on Moi Avenue and Tom Mboya Street. But when you get to the Thika Superhighway, there's no traffic.
Okay.
So it only makes sense that probably if we made Moi Avenue and Tom Mboya Street one way, then you'll have a fairly smooth flow. Okay. And these are the things that have been established by the time motion studies and will be implemented in the medium term.
Okay, Governor Kidero, I'm sorry, I have to ask this question again. What if it doesn't happen in the next 3 months, the plans you have? What if they don't happen? What will happen then? Because Kenyans are frustrated that these things are said and they don't happen.
They will happen, but if they don't happen, it will happen, but we will improve what will have happened.
Okay. We have somebody here, Joseph from Donholm Phase 5, saying, Bwana Governor, thank God that you have a car that can take you everywhere. It's not our wish to use matatus or mkokotenis when we are carrying our belongings from stage to another through the city center. We cannot afford taxi or pickups. Is it hard for you to understand? Just reflect back and ask, is it hard for you to understand our predicament? That is just off from Donholm, because after the handcarts and everything were banned.
No, I understand very well. And basically, I think even the person who's pushing the handcarts get frustrated in the heavy traffic. So that's the reason why we've taken, and this has been in the bylaws for a very, very long time. This is not anything new. I mean, handcarts are not allowed in the city center.
Okay, leave it at that for that. We cross over now, 5 more minutes we have to finish this interview, to ODM politics. Your relationship with the party, some say you've been blowing hot and cold. It's like we don't really, you're really lukewarm, we don't see where you are. And exactly talk about Homa Bay, the senatorial by-election that happened in Homa Bay. You went against them. There was a letter that was sent to some perceived ODM rebels after this by-election. Your name was there. Did you receive this letter? Because we heard that your name was removed. Did you hear about this?
No, I heard about it, but I never received any letter.
Did you find out from them if
I did
your
try
name was
to
there?
find out, but I was told my name was never there.
Okay. Why would you be against them? Why were you against them in the Homa Bay?
Actually, that's what would have surprised me if my name was there, because that would mean I was against them. But the fact that my name was not there means that probably it was mistaken, because I've never been against, and I'm not against.
Your relationship with Odinga, personally, many people have been talking about this, and critics say what you want is to unsettle Odinga with Nyanza politics in mind in future. What would you say to that?
I was elected as the governor of Nairobi with the support of my party leader, and I'm dedicated to providing service to the Nairobi people. Politics 106, detraction.
You keep saying that, politics 106. Okay. Some, of course, have dismissed you as a one-term governor. I don't know if you've heard about that. Many have been talking about your legacy and what legacy you're leaving behind. What do you think? Well, first, just tell me, what is the major thing or tangible thing you would pride yourself to having have done in the last 2 years?
Mohammed, I mean, I did promise we're going to get rid of potholes. So far, 640 kilometers of road, there are no potholes. I'm sure you've seen that. We've done 190 kilometers of road. We're just in the process of awarding 990 contracts on roads and streetlights. Drugs are available in our hospitals. I built a 120-bed maternity hospital at Bagadi. I've established 25 maternities in our health centers. I've made another 25 health centers to be 24-hour service. And looking at, because it's just not about today, it's about long term. This city never had a strategic plan.
Right.
Neither did it have a development plan, an integrated development plan, which I have just done, having operated all these years, and this will inform how the city is going to develop in the future. And even the decongestion program that we are implementing at the moment is an outcome of that particular plan. Nairobi does not have sufficient water. I think at most people receive water 2 to 3 times per week, because what is required is not sufficient by almost 50%. We require 700,000 cubic meters of water, but we are only able to supply 4. And I've just implemented the Northern Collector water tunnel that will add another 140,000 cubic meters.
Okay. Like we talked about your issues as a governor, do you think, let me go over to Politics 106 as you wind up. Your colleague at Politics 106. So our new segment is called Politics 101. Kidero talks about his detractors politically and talking about Politics 106. Are you planning again to run as a Nairobi county governor?
Certainly. I mean, most of the projects you start mature in the second term. And a lot of the things that I've started, I'll stay on to see them to maturity. Okay.
Thank you very much. Dr. Evans Kidero, Nairobi County Governor, thank you so much for coming to the big question. Like we said, There are a lot of issues to be discussed about Nairobi County. Right, my director, Alex, is talking about cows. Okay, let's finish this. Talking about how dirty Nairobi City is, and also talking about having cows in Nairobi. Grazers bringing cows in Nairobi. In some neighborhoods.
Let's talk about, garbage collection. When I joined, we were only collecting 400 tons out of the 2,200. We are now collecting 1,300 tons. We've just implemented the new garbage collection system, which is called the franchising system, where we are separating garbage with color-coded bags. This happening in Zone 1, which is City Center. This happening in Zone 7. And we've just advertised the other zones. We've bought sufficient equipment, and we'll be buying some more to transport this garbage. We were putting it in Dandora, but we know that Dandora is full. I'm just in the process of signing a contract of garbage system with a German company that will be investing in the generation of electricity.
Okay.
And in my recent trip to Japan, we just agreed with JICA on a technology for the final disposal site for garbage.
Okay.
Initially, we had a problem because of bird strikes, potential bird strike, if we had done it in Ruai.
Okay.
But the methodology that we are going to adopt negates potentiality of bird strikes.
Right. My director is still screaming in my ear, ngombe, ngombe, ngombe. Okay. Talking about this issue about herders bringing cows in Nairobi. Everybody has their own problems. Those are problems of some people in Nairobi. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, we get rid of the cows. Actually, where the boma where we keep the cows are full, but they keep on bringing them. I mean, today, I was talking to the deputy president, and he was reminding me that his lawn has been destroyed by cows. I mean, it goes against we'll keep on driving them out of town. But the rate at which they come in is probably a little bit higher than the rate at which we are driving them out.
Okay, I think I'll have problems with my fellow pastoralists for asking that question. But thank you so much, Dr. Evans Kidero, for coming to the big question. Keep sending us your comments on 22422 and on Twitter using the hashtag #TheBigQuestion. We are back after this break.